Ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing a boots on the ground report. Right now, I'm sitting outside of one of the big car dealers in my town, and there's a huge shift I'm starting to see with these car dealers. Now, we all knew in 2020 and 2021 there was a massive shortage of cars. Used car prices went up, they exploded. But now, what we're starting to see that used car prices are plummeting and plummeting quick. Delinquencies are rising, we're seeing repos rising, and right now I'm sitting out front of this used car dealership, and it just goes on and on and on. And I'll get out there and show you some footage, and there are just cars everywhere. For once, we can see here, this is the lawn here. We can see there some cars here, and I'll try to get you some down here as well. I'll get out in a sec and give you a better view. There are cars parked on the lawn. Here where I am right here. Also on the other side of the road. I'll get out and show you again, but there's cars parked right here. We're seeing used cars flood these car dealerships. Now, what they've tried to do is they've tried to put a lot of these in storage, but I'll try to get another clip of a huge storage center in my town where they're storing these cars, and now storage is starting to overflow and they can't hide these cars anymore. Okay guys, again, boots on the ground here, showing you this car lot. As you see back there, it's completely full. Going up here, again, they got cars parked on the grass here. You can see there, they got cars parked all along the grass there on the other side of the road. I'll try to zoom in here. Parked there. I've never seen both sides of the road, the grass, full here. And it just goes on and on. Now obviously these prices are in Australian dollars, so they may seem very expensive. But the same thing's happening around the whole world. Interest rates are rising here in Australia. Most people have variable rate mortgages. Their mortgages, like for example mine, just went from 1.9% to 5.99%, and so they're now having to sell their cars to keep up with these payments. A lot of people, they brought brand new cars in 2020 and 2021. We can see it goes all the way down to the back there. It just goes on and on. Here they've also got storage in the back, and you see this fence here. I'll zoom in on the fence. They've got more cars parked back there. People are doing it really tough, okay? And now they're having to sell these new cars that they brought to try to keep up with the cost of living. And this is a really bad sign for the economy, because if people aren't buying cars, people aren't buying houses, people aren't taking on more and more debt, that's very bad for the banks, and it's very bad when the money supply keeps shrinking. Oh, okay guys, I have to get back in the car. One of the car salesmen came out running, "Hey, what are you doing filming around here?" Obviously they don't want people to know what's really happening in the car market and what's happening in the auto sector. Okay, so again, we're seeing the used car index prices are still plummeting. Okay, there has been a bit of a flattening, a bit of a rebound, but what I expect as inflation continues to squeeze borrowers, this trend is going to end. We've seen with the latest delinquencies reports that delinquencies are rising. Like I said, car repossessions are rising. And again, I've never seen these car dealerships this full. And this is just one of many in my town. And I'm seeing them get more and more full. I've spoken to a couple of car salesmen that would actually speak to me. They're saying it's tougher and tougher to sell. They're getting a lot of families coming in, wanting to try to get some money for their car, cash for their car, just because again, what's happening around the world, because in the US, yes, people have 30-year fixed rate, but we live in a big world, okay? Most of the world, people are lucky if they can fix their mortgage for 5 years. Now, again, like I said, my mortgage has gone from 1.9% to 5.99%, and that is before the latest 2 rate hikes from the Reserve Bank of Australia. So now interest rates are even higher. They were going to put me on 7%. Now, luckily for me, I wasn't, silly and went out and took on a $700,000, $800,000, $1 million mortgage like some of my friends were. I was speaking to some of my friends that were making $60,000, $70,000 per year, and they were going to take on a mortgage of 600 or 700,000. Now this was when interest rates were pretty much 2%, so maybe they could just afford it then. But now that interest rates have skyrocketed, these people can no longer afford these mortgages. So what we have to know is the car market and the housing market is very, very connected. So first, what will happen is people will sell their car first because they may start to take public transport, and they may, for example, if they get $30,000-$40,000 for their brand new car that they paid, $50,000 or $60,000. It's the worst asset, they say. The banks call it an asset, a car you can buy, because as soon as you drive it off the lot, the value drops 5 to 10%. Some, in more cases, some even worse. Okay, so what happens is first people sell their car to try to survive, but once that money dries up, especially if more and more layoffs become announced, then we're going to start to see people having to force sell their home. It's just an unfortunate thing what happens through every economic cycle. So the reason I'm making this video, the point I'm making this video for you, is to show you that things are happening. I'm trying to give you more boots on the ground reports of what's really happening out in the economy, because by the time we get the data, it's already 3 to 6 months too late. By the time that we get the data that year over year house prices are falling, again, it's a year too late. And also, another reason why you want to get boots on the ground experience, for example, go to open homes, go to open for inspections for houses, is because then when the bottom comes, again, that will happen before the data comes out to confirm it. So you need to get out there in the real world and see what's really going on. So what I think is going to happen is these car sales are going to get worse. I expect car prices are going to continue to fall. And then eventually this is going to lead into the housing market, and then the housing market is going to fall. And the final nail in the coffin is going to be the unemployment rate going up. So we need to watch these three things: car market, housing market, and then unemployment. And that's what's going to make this, for what we're in right now, a recession could make it into a depression. But what do you think about this, everyone? What are you seeing boots on the ground in your areas? Is the car dealerships, are they flooding with inventory? Let me know in the comments below.